Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Mind your business. Only on Money FM 89.3.
Welcome to the Breakfast Show. It's Mind Your Business with Audrey and Ahmad. Well, AI is already deeply embedded in our daily lives. What was once a futuristic buzzword is now revolutionizing many industries, right?
Yep. In the customer service realm, AI-powered virtual assistants have streamlined support by providing instantaneous 24/7 answers to customer queries. Finance professionals, meanwhile, are employing AI in fraud detection, algorithmic trading, credit scoring, and risk assessment.
Yeah, and over in the healthcare industry, it's no different. Thanks to advancements in AI and the invention of deep neural networks technology, AI-powered hearing aids are fundamentally changing how people with hearing loss experience the world.
Sorry, what was that you said? No, I'm just kidding. So to tell us more about this fascinating invention, we're pleased to welcome back to the show Mr. Sharad Govil, CEO and Chief Audiologist at Amazing Hearing Group. Sharad, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
Thanks for coming back on. So, since the last time we met and spoke, what would you say has changed? And what are some of the biggest feedbacks or complaints you're getting from the use of traditional hearing aids?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that has changed is really AI is now available in hearing aids. The biggest complaint that people have with hearing loss who are using hearing aids is ability to understand speech in noise, in restaurants, their background environments and things. And traditional hearing aids have helped, but the problem is that people take very long before they get hearing aids. So they leave their hearing loss untreated for a long time.
Yeah.
And the brain loses the ability to filter all that noise. So now the device has to do that work, and they have been doing okay. But now with AI, they're doing significantly better, where they use the deep neural networks to separate the speech and noise.
Okay, so traditional hearing aids have come a long way, but they're not without challenges as well. So AI and deep neural networks are at the core of your new technology. Could you break down how they work in your hearing aids and, what makes them different from the traditional models?
Right. So I would mention there are 3 brand names who use artificial intelligence technology, and AI has been there in hearing aids for a long time in terms of identifying speech and noise, but their ability to separate them has not been that great. Now, the 3 brands, Phonak, Signia, and Auticon, they have actually implemented different forms of deep neural networks. Now, what deep neural network is that it collects a massive amount of data sets of speech and noise. Could be around 12 million to 13 million sound samples. They train the system to identify what is a speech, what is noise, what is different kind of noise. And then it allows you to personalize that for the patient when they're wearing the hearing aid in that environment.
Okay. So you were very kind to actually provide some audio clips for us so that we can get a better idea of the difference between a traditional hearing aid versus AI. So let's give you guys a listen. Let's play the first one, which is a non-AI hearing aid.
These figures look really encouraging. Yeah, I agree. Let's set up a meeting.
Good idea. I'll send you the details.
Okay.
Yeah, as you can hear with that, it's pretty difficult to sort of pick up on what the person was saying because there's so much white noise there.
Yeah, a lot of ambient noise. I could still kind of hear what they're saying, but definitely not clear. So let's take a listen to the AI hearing aid.
These figures look really encouraging. Yeah, I agree. Let's set up a meeting.
Good idea. I'll send you the details.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's night and day.
Yeah, it's night and day. Sharad, explain what's happening there.
Yes, so what you have heard the sound sample is from a brand called Phonak. It's a Swiss brand. Their product is called Audio Infinio Sphere. So what they do is they've created, the moment person is in loud noise environment, the system will say, okay, the noise is really loud, and then it will actually activate the system. Also, the end user can choose to manually activate it. And then it says, okay, this noise level is high in the speech, so it will significantly reduce the noise. It creates a sphere around you that actually blocks the noise and just focuses on the speech. So speech is almost 10 to 12 dB louder than the noise levels.
Okay, that's pretty remarkable. Can you sort of help us paint a picture of appearance-wise, the difference between a traditional non-AI hearing aid and an AI-powered hearing aid, and also in terms of wearability and comfort?
Right. So 80% of the population who wears hearing aid are the ones that go behind the ear with the small wire that goes in, and they have become very small. However, with the AI, for it to really work effectively, they need, especially Phonak, they use 2 chips. And these 2 chips then make the size a bit bigger. Now, we did think that, initially people may have concern about the size when we look compared to others, and some people do, but a lot of them prefer to hear speech in noise better than over the cosmetics.
Okay.
And we have some very good feedback from our patients. Having said, as I mentioned, there's another brand called Signia, and what they do is they've got this assistant on the app itself. So when I'm in a noisy environment, the assistant will do a lot of work. So their hearing aids are not that big, and it works quite well as well, personalizing it right now where you are in that particular setting. Yeah.
So, of course, it's different to the user, but there's some people who, of course, prioritize being able to hear properly, but others, being discreet is very important to them. So as time goes on, will these AI-powered hearing aids also tend to get smaller as, things progress?
Yes. In fact, one of the other manufacturers has just announced a launch of new AI-enabled hearing aids, which are much smaller in size, really could not be seen. They still go behind the ear, but honestly, with hair color or skin color, they can be hidden and a lot more invisible. And I do think that as technology, as a chip becomes smaller for AI and things like that, it will improve the availability of AI in cosmetically discrete hearing aids.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing hearing, right?
I like that.
Amazing hearing group. Yeah, there you go. Okay, next question. How much of a hole does this burn in the pocket?
To start with, I will say hearing aids are expensive in Singapore.
Yeah.
Okay. On average, in a private practice, a patient would probably spend around anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 for a pair of hearing aids. But there we are talking about a good level technology, not the best level. The best level that is AI-enabled, fully functioning, you're looking at spending around $14,000 to $16,000 for a pair.
Okay. So with such advanced features that come with these AI-driven devices, many might assume that it requires more power, right? So how do you address concerns about battery life?
Yes, so it's been a very interesting evolution of how battery life is managed in hearing aids over time. Previously, people have to use batteries and replace them. Today, hearing aids are rechargeable. And that technology has now really matured. In the past, there were a lot of problems, but now they have matured and they do really well. So with rechargeable hearing aids, the battery life is not so much of a problem because the batteries that they use inside are able to sustain the use. And people use hearing aids for 12 to 14 hours a day, and they are able to use these AI hearing aids quite well.
So I'm curious, these AI-powered hearing aids have been on market for about 6 months now?
Yes.
Okay, and what's the kind of demographic that you're seeing coming into your clinic and saying, hey, I want to buy a pair of these?
Two particular group of patients that we are seeing. One is the younger group of patients. We do see people in their 30s, late 30s, 40s, having discovered that they are having hearing issues. For either they have a chronic condition that started early or something else, autoimmune. The other group that we are seeing who's coming and specifically asking for AI-enabled hearing aids are the ones who are not happy with their traditional hearing aids.
Okay.
Because they're really struggling and saying, I'm not able to understand speech, I need something. And then they hear about this and they want to come and give it a try, and they can see a significant difference.
So just to clarify here, when you have a traditional hearing aid, if you want to upgrade to an AI-powered one, you can't just empower your current hearing aid with AI, right? You have to buy a whole new one that comes with the technology.
That is correct. You have to buy a whole new one.
Okay, got it. And so a key breakthrough that these AI-powered hearing aids continuously, what it does is that it continuously learns to adapt in real time. So you talked about how it can amplify voices, but also kind of bring down the ambient noises. How does this personalization work, though? How does AI learn from user preferences to adjust automatically over time?
Right. So I will take an example of this brand called Signia, which used to be known as Siemens in the past. And they have this app called Signia Assistant. And I have found this really very good with my patients. So for example, my patient comes to my clinic, I program their hearing aids, and it's a clinical setting. And now when they go home or they go to a food court or a restaurant and they feel, the hearing aids are not as clear as I expected. They were working wonderfully when I was in the clinic. What they can do is they can go to the Signia Assistant app and tell them what they're experiencing. And if they've been using hearing aids slightly longer enough, the hearing aid has learned the environment in which they are. So they're doing all the data learning on an ongoing basis. So it's not just what we've given in the past as a sample, but they learn on ongoing. So one of the things we say to our people is, if you use hearing aids long enough, it will become even better. There is a self-learning that is there in the hearing aids where it is learning your environment. Then based on your input on the app, like a chat GPT, it is actually personalizing it for you, and it will give you a setting and say, upload these settings on your hearing aid. So patient don't need to call me and come to my clinic. It's like I am there with them 24/7 through that kind of
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, you provide round-the-clock support, right?
Yes.
So that's a game changer because you don't have to physically be in the space.
Yeah.
What would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've encountered? Because, it's still fairly new. It's been on the market 6 months, and I'm sure you've encountered some obstacles along the way. Any feedback as to how, the product can be improved?
I think on the product side, I would say there's not so much of an issue, maybe the cosmetic part of it. I think the real challenge is, from a consumer point, is the affordability part.
Okay.
Right? The hearing aids are really expensive. Now, the subsidy of the hearing aids is only limited to public hospitals.
Right.
All right? That's something I hope that the Singapore government looks out and sees how that can be made available. Because, again, you have limited resources, right, within the hospitals. The waiting list is anywhere 6 to 8 months' time.
Oh, goodness.
And they don't have access to this technology because it's expensive. So an audiologist are really serving the mass. And now people who do want that, but they're not able to use subsidy because they're buying in private. Right? So if they are able to use some form of subsidy, then at least they get it. So that affordability for better quality of sound will make a big difference. That's the real challenge.
Okay. And another challenge that we spoke about, which I hope you can get into, is also on a personal level, people admitting to themselves that they have hearing loss issues. Is that a challenge that you still face day to day?
Absolutely. I recently met a 88-year-old man who was brought into the clinic by his daughter, and she said, he's doing okay, but he really has hearing difficulty. We have to repeat ourselves. If he's not looking at us, he doesn't, So he came to my clinic and I said, so how do you feel? I have no problem. It's these people who have a problem. So that denial is there to an extent because they can lip read. And that's one of the things that people don't realize, that actually you're lip reading, you're not really hearing.
Yeah.
So one of the things I tell them is close your eyes and then I'll talk to them. And then they're like, I didn't hear a single thing that you said.
Wow.
So that is something, there's a lot of people who are in denial. And they take 7 to 8 years before they do anything. And honestly, that has a big impact on their cognition and memory.
Well, we are very complex organisms indeed.
We are, yes.
Yeah. Final question, okay? Let's get personal and talk a little bit about your role as an entrepreneur. Let's not forget that you're helming a big business here. What are some of the challenges of scaling a hearing healthcare business? How do you stay ahead of the curve and ensure your business remains an industry leader?
So the biggest challenge is people. And as an entrepreneur, finding the right people and right team. I've been very fortunate now to be able to build a new team, and which is very, very good. And if you have a good team, then you advance and you start doing new things. The other challenge, or rather the way to scale a business or to really be relevant, is that you truly solve the problem that the patient has. So we are not, while we have talked about products today, but our approach is not product driven. It's really problem focused. People, I usually say my company is not called Amazing Hearing Aids, it's called Amazing Hearing. So we really focus on hearing, and hearing, as you said, tinnitus. Last week was a tinnitus awareness week, and we have a lot of patients who we have successfully managed. One message, if I can send through your platform to people, is you do not have to live with tinnitus. Please do not listen to the doctors and GPs who tell you that you have to live with tinnitus, get used to it. No, there is help available. There is cognitive behavior therapy, there is sound therapy, and if you have hearing loss, there is hearing aids. So people with tinnitus can be helped. You just need to go to an audiologist who specialize in tinnitus, and not to the GPs and ENT doctors who honestly do not have much idea about it.
That's exactly what I needed to hear.
That's right. And it's something to remember, right? Is that AI is clearly reshaping the future of hearing healthcare, making it smarter and more adaptive, and hopefully it will be more accessible to those who need it. Thank you so much for joining us today, Sharad. It was really great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Sharad Govil, CEO and Chief Audiologist at Amazing Hearing Group. Stay with Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.